For some years now, BlueStar has been developing an ISV ecosystem whereby BlueStar is the connection point to help introduce ISVs to resellers and vice versa, and also to help vendors identify new reseller and ISV partnerships. And this is why the Tech Connect program was born. Tech Connect is our BlueStar program to help facilitate those connections between the resellers and the ISVs and to help our partners grow their business.
Yeah, that's a big part of our business, right? Being the connection point. But I mean, you are mentioning ISVs, and to be honest, it's a never-ending discussion. Eh? What is an ISV? ISV means everything and means nothing. So I think we have to probably to address what we are looking for and what kind of ISVs we are trying to tie up within this concept.
Yeah, I think that's really important to identify what exactly we mean. Also, what does it stand for? Independent software vendor. It's I think it means different things to different people. I'll speak, potentially to vendors, and they'll, often what they mean by an ISV might be what we would class as a reseller. So the terminology can be quite misleading. So to be clear about it, I think I would define two main types of ISV. First of all, you've got solution ISVs, and then you've got what I would describe as being a pure ISV. So to explain what I mean by that, a solution ISV, clues in the title, they sell software, but they also offer a solution. So in our definition, a solution ISV, they've developed their own software, but they sell that then together with hardware and probably services as a complete solution together with their software, usually directly to the end user. So that's a solution ISV. And a pure ISV is somebody who also makes their own software, but is really only interested in selling software. So they don't want to sell hardware. They don't want to get their hands dirty doing all that horrible hardware stuff that we make our living out of doing. They don't want to touch the hardware. But the software has to run on something, so hardware is still required. And this is where a pure ISV, as I say, they only sell software. They're probably, and hopefully from our point of view, trade only. So they're not even selling the hardware directly to the end user, but they'll work with a reseller, which could well be a BlueStar customer, to actually deliver that solution. And I think another key point is, the ones that we're interested in working with in terms of pure ISVs are people whose software has been tested and will drive sales of the hardware that BlueStar actually offers. So I think I don't know what you guys think to that. I think that for me is the two definitions, two main types, and one's not better than the other. They're just different approaches from, in terms of how we want to work with them, how they interact with our reseller customers, how the vendors would perhaps want to interact with them. And you've done, I guess, probably more work than any of us with what I've just described as being a solution ISV. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the main difference for me, I think, is the solutions ISV, we basically complete their full solution. So it's a one-stop shop, basically. Normally, the solutions ISVs do have hardware that's specifically certified for their solution. A lot of times we see with pure ISVs that it's a little bit more agnostic, so they can choose basically what's on the market, or if the reseller brings their own hardware, it works on everything. With solution ISVs, it's normally a plug and play and a full one-stop shop solution, where, of course, if the solution ISV makes use of all the services that we have available, we would, for example, drop ship, and that means shipping directly to their end user on behalf of the ISV, which of course is a great service. And that's something I would say that differentiates the solution ISV versus a pure ISV. Yeah, but I think it's also important to understand that we are not, let's say, living one apart from the other. I mean, we are making a difference because we want to, offer different value adds, and of course, this differentiation that you just explained very well means that they are looking for different things too. So we want to accomplish, so we are going to be, welcoming the pure ISVs initially into our TechConnect program, in Europe at least, which doesn't mean that we don't have similar services or similar value add that we are offering to solution ISVs. Solution ISVs are most of our customers, let's be honest. I mean, most of them, they are selling hardware, they are following projects, but of course, they are also having a piece of software which is completing the solution. Otherwise, it doesn't make too much sense. So I think it's important to mention that. But yes, you're right. I mean, I think pure ISVs is where we are building initially the first levels of the ISV of the Tech Connect program, and this drives us to the second step. What do we offer to those ISVs? Why we are a value add for them? Who wants to keep answering that?
I can have a go at that if you want.
Please go on.
So
I was expecting you to do that, to be honest.
good, right? Well,
I didn't want to mention.
I guess that's why I'm here, is it? So why? Question being, why do we want to offer value to the pure ISVs? I think in a lot of cases it's helping us to grow different solutions that we can offer to our reseller network and to the vendors. So often a company that's very much focused on software usually will be very, very good at developing that software, and they don't want to complicate their business by having to, as I say, get involved in hardware or supporting hardware, delivering services, that kind of thing. So they're looking for some way of getting that software to market. They perhaps don't even want to sell the software directly to an end user. So where we come in is we can help to introduce our resellers to companies like that. The benefit being to the ISV that they find a new partner that can deliver their software. Benefit to the reseller is that they're, without having to go out and develop for themselves some very costly software, they can add that to their offering to the end user. Let's say, for example, whether that will be in retail or hospitality, manufacturing, wherever it is. There's what BlueStar's bringing to this is connecting people, building a community of people that are able to bring people who have expertise in software together with people who have expertise in hardware. Because the requirements are really, really different, and some companies manage to do the whole thing. Other companies are less. So I think that's one key benefit of.
But I think you just mentioned something which is very, very important. I think at the end, what we are trying is to create a community, to create an ecosystem, organized in a consistent way that we can, or where we can act as the connection point. And I think this is also common to most of the programs that we are launching, right? And it's not only affecting the customers, it's not only affecting the resellers, not only affecting the ISVs, it's also affecting the vendors, the manufacturers, it's a whole community which can benefit from each other.
Yeah.
And BlueStar is the key element there through the Tech Connect program to make people talk to each other and see how the business can be developed, where the opportunity can be, right?
Yeah, through expanding their offerings, whether
Absolutely.
it be a reseller or an ISV or a vendor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they all get a bit from each other. The vendor wants to find new routes to market for the hardware that they've manufactured. The ISV similarly wants new routes. The pure ISV at least wants new routes to market for their software. They want to perhaps get that software into different markets or different parts of that market, or perhaps different territories geographically. Reseller, if they've not got extensive in-house software writing capability, or even if they have got that, but they're just not, they don't want to go ahead and develop their own payment application, for example, or their own mobility application, their own price markdown, whatever it would be. By understanding the good thing about distribution, one of the good things about distribution that I've personally worked in myself since the mid 15th century is that as a distributor,
you were selling goats, right? I remember one of the podcasts you mentioned something like that.
I do like to talk about goats, Paco. Yeah. The payment industry's moved on. We don't have to trade in goats anymore. But
correct.
One of the good things about distribution is you end up being very well connected to lots of different parts of the technology market, the community ecosystem, whatever you want to call it. So there's lots of we're very well placed to be able to introduce companies like resellers that are looking for new solutions. We'd really like resellers to come to us and say, hey, I don't have a solution for whatever it would be, one of the things that I mentioned before, payments, mobility, whatever it is. ISVs, I think, are probably more forthcoming. They'll come to us and say, you've got 11,000 resellers globally, BlueStar. We'd like to get our software in front of some of those. I think it's fairly clear what the benefits are that we can offer to them. And so I think, as a connector in the equation, BlueStar as a distributor is very, very well placed to do that.
I think from a reseller's perspective, obviously it's easier to sell more into existing partners than go and find lots of new customers themselves. So that's, I think, when it's really key that we can partner them up with an ISV, because it might be that they've got a great relationship with, end user X, but they're only selling into a very limited part of that business.
Yep.
And by linking up and partnering with an ISV, they can potentially, offer new applications, new technologies into that same partner that they've got a great relationship with, but they're not maximising the revenue stream they're getting from them.
And I think we saw also some best case examples with, especially with payment, of course, where a reseller is able to offer an extended software basically to their end user. You also see that ISVs are kind of playing this game where they white label the software, so the reseller can actually brand it under their name. So it's an upselling opportunity which benefit both. And I think it's a great connection point what we try to create.
What is the vendor role in this program? How can we, let's say, describe, what is the benefit for the vendor in the Tech Connect?
I think the vendor's role and the benefits are quite closely linked to each other. I think the role of the vendor is definitely to support it. The benefit that they're looking for is to be able to sell more of their hardware. They make hardware, they want to sell it, and so this offers the benefit to them is that it offers them a channel to do that. I think what ISVs and resellers are looking for from vendors is access to the hardware. So the ISV. Some ISVs want to be agnostic and be able to offer as wide a range of hardware as they possibly can. I think others like to work much more closely with even just a single vendor, or maybe one or two, or a single tablet vendor, a single receipt printer vendor, that kind of thing. So I think from the vendor's point of view, making demo equipment available to the resellers, I think to the ISVs as well, rather, is a really important benefit that they can offer to the community there.
And obviously we can be a conduit to that, because we've got obviously an extensive demo pool, but also at least several demo facilities across Europe. So partners, ISVs can come into those facilities with BlueStar and have access to multiple hardware platforms and test their software to make sure that they're happy and it's kind of certified.
Probably also leave that software there as well.
Yeah.
So if there is a demo area, whether it's within some of the BlueStar facilities, as you say, also can be within the vendors as well, then it's there, and other people coming here. We've got people coming through some of our offices that are actually looking to see complete working solutions. And
also right. I mean, if you remember, we made some weeks ago, some also a podcast about the value adds, that BlueStar can have, especially for the POS business. And I think all these ties together many of the services that BlueStar and value added BlueStar is giving, right? So we are the connection, because we are linking this kind of approach and this kind of community. We are making them available. We are making some programs like the Global Care, for example, available. We are putting our ISV, our VAS, department, so we can bundle, we can configure, we can ship, we can drop ship, and then that is really something that will help not only the ISVs but also the resellers to grow their business.
Yeah,
as simple as that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
What can we say is the main benefit that the ISV community could be having for the resellers?
What's the benefit to the reseller, or what's the benefit
to the reseller?
Yes, I think the number one thing is access to a much wider range of solutions. So what we're offering to them is partnerships with companies that we're vetting those companies in advance to make sure that they will act as good partners for the resellers. So they're going to be able to genuinely make a partnership with companies that are not going to compete with them. So they're not going after that same end user. We're ideally looking for people. Pure ISVs would ideally be trade only as well. So not only software only, but also trade only, not selling directly to end users. And those are the kind of partnerships that we're trying to foster.
And one of the things I also think is critical is that we are qualifying all this ecosystem, right? When ISV is looking for a reseller, and of course they're always looking for resellers who can really enhance their market. They most of the times they don't know exactly what kind of reseller, what areas they cover, what is the market approach, what is the go-to-market strategy, and the same and the other way around. The resellers, they might be finding in the web, different ISVs, people who's making software, but they know nothing about them. So we are also the company who is within this Tech Connect program qualifying this to make sure that we can put in contact companies which are exactly clicking one to each other, and the strategies are clicking to each other.
And I think as within sales, I've been involved quite a lot with a lot of ISVs. So you do it, unavoidably. You talk to a reseller, for example, and he needs a solution, and right away it pops up, boom, this ISV, this ISV. So after a while, when you're, building in the Tech Connect program, and you see all these ISVs coming in, you start to learn about their, solutions, and you can actually pitch it as well to a reseller before you make the introduction to the ISV, which I think is very good.
So Tech Connect is a wider concept, right? I mean, it's a concept which has been working already for many years in the US through BlueStar, and then of course in a maybe not organized way, but of course working in the behind the scenes, also in Europe, And now what we are doing is that we are combining all together, and then we are bringing this program to make sure that we can put all these services together, and we can also give a full visibility to the reseller ecosystem, to the ISV community, to the vendors. We are combining all these services together to make sure that this can be a benefit for them, right? So what I would like to also to understand is from the point of view of marketing, we've been also offering many services that are also included within this Tech Connect program, like the Hour solutions. And then I know you're a big fan of
for sure.
Of the Hour solutions, right?
We don't want to leave out the solutions ISVs, and I think we have a great tool for those ISVs, and that's called Hour Solutions. So it's basically a website that we host. So it's a platform that BlueStar hosts. It's not visible by BlueStar, so it's non-branded. And basically what we do is we partner with the reseller and we partner with the ISV. With the manufacturer. We partner with the manufacturer, we partner with the ISV, and together we bring a solution, plug and play, or at least a solution on the platform. And on this platform, it's widely spread to end users. Again, we're very trade only, so we never engage with end users, but we basically have this program to kind of make sure that the end user, so for example, hospitality, retail, that they see these campaigns on LinkedIn, where you can actually see what is the solution from the ISV, and how, can a manufacturer jump in that? And I think you can also add a little bit to the marketing side.
Yeah, exactly. What you said. I mean, the main benefit is that we are offering a tool to, let's say, look for leads. It's a lead generation tool, for our partners. But of course, lead generation can be also short, can be big. It depends on how the market develops and what do you do. We are creating an ebook that is helping also to provide visibility of the services that the ISVs and the resellers are providing. But also on top of that, in the way to create these leads, we are really making or giving a lot of visibility to the solution. And this is something that most of the ISVs, I'm not talking about the big ISVs, but especially small ISVs in the corner, they hardly ever have that access to that kind of visibility that we can provide. And this is one of the biggest reasons also to be part of this program.
And I think the cool thing is, of course, when there's an end user interested in the solution, so he reads the ebook, there's an educational purpose behind. He's interested. Of course, BlueStar is not the one that receives that lead, right? Because we're trade only. So the lead goes directly to the ISV. The ISV can contact the end user, and then of course make the deal happen. And then of course, we should be able to see hardware on the other side as well. But that's of course the whole.
Well, that's always one of the discussions. I always wonder, when we talk about software and hardware, which one is driving the business in terms of project? I know there's probably no one single answer, but I always wonder.
I'm going to say hardware. Just to take a position, but
I think it depends on the project, right? But I mean, most of the times we also see a lot of, projects being driven by the software, and then the hardware is just a kind of commodity, if you want to call it that way. But also very often the software becomes a commodity, and then what they are looking is for a very specific hardware which can also fit into that project. I don't know if you have any experience on that, but in the post probably might be different.
Yeah, I would say in post it's probably more driven by software, to be honest, because there's so many extra things, especially payments, right? Pay now, pay later, all that kind of stuff. It's embedded in the software. The hardware, of course, is, I always say it's stupid, right? It's stupid hardware that doesn't communicate, but the software makes it smart, right?
And can you repeat again that
I'm not going to say
just
it
on
again
the benefit of our vendors, who are manufacturing.
It's very smart. No, but of course the software makes it, the brains of the unit, and I
The
think
vendors that are paying for this podcast that you just call their hardware
Oops.
stupid, that's what we'd like you to repeat.
apologies in advance.
So yeah, I think whilst software is often seen as the most important element of the solution, and I'll admit that it's what the software does that's driving the requirement for the whole solution. I would definitely say that without the right hardware, the software isn't necessarily being used to its full potential. If you've got the bad hardware, can make even the best software not be used to its full potential. So I think it's really important to do that. That's why we run events like the recent Tech Connect event in the UK that we ran, which I think is something that we'd like to replicate in other parts of Europe. Was something where we gave ISVs a forum to be introduced to resellers, but it was very much about showing ISV software that's running on the hardware solutions from various vendors that we work with. And I think that you were there, Jord. I think that was the format that seemed to work quite well.
It was an amazing format, and I think we do this as well in the US on a higher level. A larger event called FARTech. So we had it last September in San Antonio, and basically what we have 50 to 60 ISVs that are presenting their, basically giving an elevator pitch to all the resellers that are attending. And the resellers are usually between 12 and 1,500 that are attending. We organize this event every year, every September. And this year was in San Antonio, and it's a great event.
I think the biggest takeaway here, and the most important for our, let's say, potential ISVs who want to engage with us in this program Tech Connect, but not only ISVs, also resellers, is that we are, let's say, enhancing the event. We are expanding the events to the software to have a bigger presence. As you mentioned, it's not only the dedicated events like the Tech Connect, but also the regular events. The VARTEC, of course, is the biggest expression of that, but we also having our innovative solutions shows in every country. And then we are now giving more and more space to the ISVs to facilitate, to promote that the ISVs are talking and introducing their solutions and are talking to the resellers, and the resellers also talking to the ISVs, always with the manufacturers around. So I think that's the best expression of how the events can also help within this Tech Connect program.
Yeah, I think they're really important. If we've talked a couple of times about building a community, and I think that a face-to-face event is definitely one of the best ways to do that.
Yeah,
it's not the only way of doing it, but it's a way that works well.
But it does. I think the face-to-face as well. It just helps bring those solutions to life. So it is about obviously making the partners aware of new solutions, what solutions are out there, and it's something that's a lot more powerful if you're doing it face to face rather than remotely.
Exactly, and of course they can show a workable solution on the hardware at the software and give a presentation about it.
So this is a very special podcast. It's not so much about bringing insights of the market, etc. It's like telling our audience, hey, we have something valuable. If you're an ISV, if you're a peer ISV, also if you're a solution ISV, but mainly if you're a peer ISV, we have something valuable. So why don't we make a recap? What can Tech Connect program do for our potential ISVs to join the program? What would be the first thing?
I think the big thing is access to BlueStar's network of resellers.
Correct.
I think there's a lot of companies out there that either don't have their own software or don't have the capacity to develop all of the software that they need for the range of solutions that are required in the market. So access for ISVs, giving them access, introduction to the different resellers that we're working with, and there's thousands of them. I think that's probably the big benefit that we can offer to the pure ISVs.
I will go for the second point. I think access to the vendors.
Yes.
Let's say network, and you know a lot about this, Emma.
Yeah,
it's important for them too, and we can facilitate, we can enhance that contact, right?
Exactly. So maybe they have got some hardware that they're standardizing on, but by partnering with BlueStar, we can make sure they're familiar and aware of what our hardware offering is, and we can help facilitate them testing their software on the different vendors' hardware. So I guess summarize, it's giving them access to a larger vendor profile and products offering.
What else we are offering? Access to events. You already mentioned some of the most in-person.
Maybe also good to say there is basically no downside of signing up to a Tech Connect program.
Correct.
There is
Yeah,
no
it's a good
doubt. I
point.
cannot think of any doubts.
And there is no cost involved
No,
either.
exactly.
At
So
least
you're
to be
not-
part of the program.
You're not bounded to anything. It's basically, you can only win.
Yes,
by signing up
it's a
with
win-win
TechConnect.
situation. Exactly.
Well, they've got to talk to one of us. I mean, some people might consider that to be a downside.
Or a win.
One of the two. And I also
That's
want
it.
to mention a fourth point. A fifth point is also access to the marketing possibilities.
Mhm.
Right? So we are having, you already explained the Upper solutions, but also we are having a complete vertical approach that will help you. If you're an ISV in a very specific market niche, will help you to identify opportunities. And then we are working from that perspective. We're also qualifying people, as we said. We are not only simply putting people in contact, we are qualifying them before, so we know that when we are putting someone in contact with someone, then the business is potentially there.
Can I say one more thing? Actually, I've just thought of
course.
something else that's really useful to the ISVs that would potentially be involved or are involved, could be involved in the TechConnect program, and that's access to the BlueStar team of sales and business development managers that we've got working in most, if not all, sale account managers in all the way across Europe, BDMs in a lot of the major territories for us as well. These are people who've really got market expertise and actually can help ISVs to find the right partners that might be available, might be looking for exactly the sort of solutions that they're offering. So I think that's a key point.
That's very important, because by default we think that that's there anyway, right? But certainly we have a good batch of staff which is really knowledgeable on so many verticals. You're the right example with the POS, of course, and the payments. And then that can help really to enhance their business.
Yeah, I think there's
Absolutely
two
right.
kind of words. It's like expansion and scalability.
Correct.
So they're the two key elements that I think really help illustrate to ISVs what we can bring to them via the TechConnect program.
Excellent. Okay, so thank you very much. So if you're an ISV, if you're out there and you're looking for help to enhance your business, to develop your business and to grow your business, think that now it's available, this TechConnect program within BlueStar, and it's is there for you. So thank you very much indeed, Richard, Emma, and
Thank you.
Jort, and more to come.